Paul Simon is an American singer-songwriter known both for his solo work and his collaboration with Art Garfunkel. He and his school friend Garfunkel, whom he met in 1956, came to prominence in the 1960s as Simon and Garfunkel. Born, October 13, 1941, age 82 years, Newark, New Jersey, United States. Sposa, Edija Britskel M. 1992, Karje Fischer M. 1983 ir 1984, Peggy Harper M. 1969 ir 1975. Height, 1.6 meters. Music groups, Simon and Garfunkel, The Mystics, Tom and Jerry. Children, Harper Simon, Lulu Simon, Gabriel Elijah Simon, Adrian Edward Simon. Paul Simon net worth $200 million. Paul Simon. Early life. Simon. To contact, please check my YouTube video description and visit my website. Born on October 13, 1941, in Newark, New Jersey, to Hungarian Jewish parents. His father, Louis, 1916–1995, a college professor of education at the City College of New York, was a double bass player and dance bandleader who performed under the name Lee Sims. His mother, Belle, 1910–2007, was an elementary school teacher. In 1945, his family moved to the Kew Gardens Hills section of Flushing, Queens, in New York City. The musician Donald Fagen described Simon's childhood as that of a certain kind of New York Jew, almost a stereotype really, to whom music and baseball are very important. I think it has to do with the parents. The parents are either immigrants or first-generation Americans who felt like outsiders, and assimilation was the key thought. They gravitated to black music and baseball, looking for an alternative culture. Simon said Fagen's description was not far from the truth. Simon played baseball and stickball as a child. He described his father as funny and smart, but said he worked late and did not see his children much. Simon met Art Garfunkel when they were both aged 11. They performed in a production of Alice in Wonderland for their 6th grade graduation and began singing together when they were 13, occasionally performing at school dances. At the age of 12 or 13, Simon wrote his first song, The Girl for Me, for him and Art Garfunkel to perform. According to Simon, it became the neighborhood hit. His father wrote the words and chords on paper for the boys to use, and that paper became the first officially copyrighted Paul Simon and Art Garfunkel song. It is now in the Library of Congress. In 1957, in their mid-teens, they recorded the song Hey, Schoolgirl under the name Tom and Jerry, a name that was given to them by their label, Big Records. The single reached number 49 on the pop charts. After graduating from Forest Hills High School, Simon majored in English at Queens College and graduated in 1963. Garfunkel studied mathematics education at Columbia University in Manhattan. Simon was a brother in the Alpha Epsilon Pi fraternity and attended Brooklyn Law School for one semester in 1963. Career. Between 1957 and 1964, Simon wrote, recorded and released more than 30 songs. He and Garfunkel occasionally reunited as Tom and Jerry to record singles, including Our Song and That's My Story. Most of the songs Simon recorded during that time he performed alone or with musicians other than Garfunkel. They were released on minor record labels including Amy, Big, Hunt, King, Tribute and Madison. Simon used several pseudonyms for these recordings, usually a Jerry Landis, but also Paul Kane and a True Taylor. By 1962, working as Jerry Landis, he was a frequent writer/producer for several Amy Records artists, overseeing material released by Dottie Daniels, The Vells and Richie Cordell. Simon enjoyed moderate success with singles as part of the group Tico and the Triumphs, including A Motorcycle, which reached number 99 on the Billboard charts in 1962. Tico and the Triumphs released 445s. Marty Cooper, known as Tico, sang lead on several of these releases, but A Motorcycle featured Simon's vocal. Also in 1962, Simon reached number 97 on the pop charts as Jerry Landis, with the novelty song The Lone Teen Ranger. Both chart singles were released on Amy Records. Personal life. When Simon moved to England in 1964, he met Kathleen Mary Cathy Chitty at the first English folk club he played, the Railway and Folk Club in Brentwood, Essex, where Chitty worked part-time selling tickets. She was 16 and he was 22 when they began a relationship. Later that year they visited the US together, mainly touring by bus. 109, Cathy returned to England and Simon followed some weeks later. When he returned to the US with the growing success of The Sounds of Silence, Kathy, who was quite shy, wanted no part in success and fame, and they ended their relationship. She is mentioned by name in at least 2 of Simon's songs, A Kathy's Song and America. She is also referred to in Homeward Bound and The Late Great Johnny Ace. There is a photo of Simon and Kathy together on the cover of Simon's 1965 album The Paul Simon Songbook. Simon has been married 3 times, first to Peggy Harper in 1969. They had a son, Harper Simon, in 1972, and divorced in 1975, inspiring the song 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover. Simon wrote about this relationship in the song A Train in the Distance from his 1983 album Hearts and Bones. In the late 1970s, Simon lived in New York City next door to Saturday Night Live creator Lorne Michaels, who has been described as Simon's best friend during the period. He and Shelley Duvall lived together as a couple for 2 years until she introduced him to her friend Carrie Fisher. Simon and Fisher became a couple, and his second marriage, from 1983 to 1984, was to Fisher. He proposed to her after a New York Yankees game. The song A Hearts and Bones was written about their time together, and the song A Graceland is believed to be about seeking solace from the ending of the relationship by taking a road trip. A year after they divorced, Simon and Fisher resumed their relationship, which lasted for several years. Simon married singer Edie Brickell on May 30, 1992. They have 3 children. On April 26, 2014, Simon and Brickell were involved in a domestic dispute that involved violence by both parties. Each was issued a summons to appear in court on disorderly conduct charges. Simon and his younger brother, Eddie Simon, founded the Guitar Study Center sometime before 1973. The Guitar Study Center became part of the New School in New York City sometime before 2002. Simon is an avid fan of the New York Rangers ice hockey team, the New York Knicks basketball team, and the New York Yankees baseball team.